The Adventures of Pippin and the Enchanted Map. Chapter 1. Pippin the Mouse, curious and bold, explored his grandpa's attic for treasures to behold. Amidst the clutter and dust, Pippin found a map, old and tattered, with clues to a hidden trap. Pippin's heart raced with excitement as he studied the map with care. He knew he had to find the treasure that was hidden somewhere out there. And so, Pippin set out with his friend Sammy the Sparrow to discover the secrets of the map's mysterious arrow. Together they would journey through mountains high and low, in search of the treasure that would make their hearts aglow. With every step they took, Pippin and Sammy felt the thrill of adventure and discovery as they followed the map's trail. Chapter 2. Pippin and Sammy sat down to plan the journey ahead. With a map in their hand, "We need supplies," said Pippin, "to make it through this quest. We'll need food and water, and a cozy place to rest." Sammy nodded in agreement. "Let's not forget our gear. A compass and a flashlight, and a sturdy walking spear." They packed their bags with care and made a checklist of the things they need to brave the journey and all that it would bring. But planning wasn't enough. They needed to strategize the best route to take to avoid any surprise. With the map spread out before them, they traced the winding trail and marked the spots to rest and the challenges they'd prevail. Finally, they were ready to set out on their way with a clear plan in mind and a sense of hope and play. Pippin and Sammy looked at each other with a smile, excited for the journey that would take them for miles and miles. Chapter 3. Pippin and Sammy embarked on their quest to find the hidden treasure and put their skills to the test. The mountain loomed ahead, tall and steep and grand, and Pippin's heart skipped a beat as he surveyed the land. "We can do this," said Sammy, with a reassuring tone. "We'll climb this mountain and make it to the unknown." So, they set out on their journey with a sense of determination, ready to face the challenges and overcome any complication. As they climbed up the mountain, the air grew thin and cold. But Pippin and Sammy were brave and bold. With every step they took, they grew stronger and more sure, until they reached the top and felt their spirits soar. Pippin and Sammy looked out at the world below, feeling proud of their achievement and the journey they chose to go. The mountain was just the beginning of the adventure that lay ahead, and Pippin and Sammy were ready for whatever came instead. With a newfound confidence, they continued on their way, eager for the next challenge and the discoveries that would stay. Chapter 4. Pippin and Sammy left the mountain behind and ventured into the forest with a curious mind. The trees towered above them, with leaves and branches intertwined, and the forest was alive with creatures of every shape and kind. They followed the path before them with a cautious tread, aware of the dangers that the forest may embed. But the forest was enchanting and filled with wonders galore, like mushrooms and berries and wild flowers on the floor. They walked for hours on end, until they reached a clearing, and there they saw a river with crystal waters gleaming. They drank from the river and rested for a while, watching the wildlife around them and soaking in the tranquil style. But soon it was time to go, to continue on their way, deeper into the forest, where the treasure may lay. With renewed energy and spirit, Pippin and Sammy pressed on, eager to explore the forest and see what was beyond. The forest was a mystery, full of secrets and surprise, and Pippin and Sammy were ready for whatever may arise. Chapter 5. Pippin and Sammy encountered a wide river with rushing water and rocks that made them shiver. "How will we cross?" asked Pippin, with a worried look on his face. "It looks too deep and swift. We might get carried away." Sammy thought for a moment, and then he had an idea. "We'll build a raft," he said, "and use it to steer clear." They searched for logs and vines, and worked with all their might to build a sturdy raft that would make their journey bright. It took them hours to finish, but finally, it was done. A raft that could carry them both and safely cross the river run. They pushed the raft into the water and climbed aboard with care. And with Sammy at the helm, they began to row and steer. The river was fierce and wild, but they held on tight, and made it to the other side with all their strength and might. Pippin and Sammy cheered as they stepped onto the shore, feeling proud of their achievement and the adventure they bore. They looked ahead with wonder at the journey that lay ahead, eager to continue their quest with a sense of hope and lead. The river was just a challenge on their path to the treasure chest, and Pippin and Sammy were ready for whatever may come next. Chapter 6. Pippin and Sammy followed the path ahead and came upon a cave that filled them with dread. The cave was dark and eerie, and filled with twists and turns. But Pippin and Sammy were brave and determined to earn. They lit their torches and stepped inside with a steady hand and pace. And as they explored the cave, they noticed something in the space. A glimmer in the distance. A light that shone so bright. And Pippin and Sammy knew they were getting close, all right. They walked for what felt like hours, until they saw a door. And there, in the middle of the cave, lay the treasure they searched for. They opened the door with caution and stepped into the room. And there they saw the treasure in all its sparkling bloom. Gold coins and jewels and artifacts lay before their eyes, and Pippin and Sammy felt their hearts fill with surprise. They knew they had succeeded in their quest to find the treasure, and Pippin and Sammy felt their bond grow beyond measure. They took the treasure with them and left the cave behind, feeling proud of their accomplishment and the adventure they designed. The journey was now over, and Pippin and Sammy smiled, knowing that they had found the treasure that was once beguiled. Chapter 7. Pippin and Sammy returned to their town with the treasure they had found, and their heads held high in crown. The townsfolk gathered around them and marveled at the sight of the treasure they had discovered and the journey they had in flight. Pippin and Sammy shared their story of the obstacles they had faced and how they had overcome them with determination and grace. The townsfolk cheered and clapped and congratulated the two for finding the treasure that was lost and making their dreams come true. Pippin and Sammy decided to use the treasure to do good and make their town a better place in every way they could. They built a new school and hospital and a park for all to play, and the town became a beacon of hope and joy each day. Pippin and Sammy's adventure had not just found the treasure chest, but had shown them the power of courage and how it could make them the best They lived happily ever after, and their legacy lived on as the ones who found the treasure and made their town a cherished con. Chapter 8. Pippin and Sammy had completed their quest, and it was time to return home to the place they knew the best. They said their goodbyes to the town and set off on their way, feeling a sense of pride and joy in what they had done each day. The journey back was easier, without obstacles in their way, and Pippin and Sammy relished in the beauty of each day. They talked about their adventure and all that they had seen, and as they approached their home, their hearts filled with serene. The town looked just the same, but Pippin and Sammy had changed. They had grown and learned so much from the journey they had arranged. They were welcomed back with open arms, and stories were told anew of the treasure they had found and all that they had been through. Pippin and Sammy were heroes now, and their names were known far and wide for the treasure they had discovered and the courage they had inside. The journey was now over, but the memories would stay as Pippin and Sammy looked ahead to the adventures of another day. For the journey of life never ends, and there are always new quests to find. And Pippin and Sammy knew that with courage they could shine. So they lived their lives with purpose and a spirit that never died, for they were the ones who found the treasure, and in doing so, they had found their stride. Chapter 9. Pippin and Sammy had returned from their adventure bold and true, and as they settled back into life, they wondered what else they could do. One day as they were walking, they heard a faint meowing sound and followed it to a nearby bush, where a small kitten they found. The kitten was shivering and scared, and Pippin and Sammy knew that they had to help this little one and give it a home anew. They took the kitten to the vet, who said it needed care. So they took it home to their place and gave it love and attention fair. The kitten soon grew strong and bold, and followed Pippin and Sammy around. And as they played and laughed and loved, a new friendship was found. They named the kitten Treasure in honor of their quest, and watched as it explored the world with curiosity and zest. But one day Treasure disappeared, and Pippin and Sammy were distraught. They searched high and low and everywhere, but Treasure was nowhere to be caught. Just when they had given up, they heard a meowing sound and found Treasure with a surprise. A litter of kittens around. Pippin and Sammy were overjoyed at the sight of these new lives, and knew that Treasure had given them a gift that would forever thrive. They welcomed the new kittens and gave them all a home, and watched as they grew and played and loved, and together they all did roam. For treasure had given them more than just a home and love and care, but a new family to cherish, and memories to forever share. And as they watched the kittens play, Pippin and Sammy knew that life was full of surprises and adventures waiting anew. And so they lived each day with wonder and a spirit that never ceased. For they were the ones who found the treasure and had been blessed with a new lease. Chapter 10. Pippin and Sammy had lived a life full of adventure, love, and fun. And as they looked out at the world, they knew their journey had just begun. For there were new adventures waiting, and challenges to be faced. And Pippin and Sammy were ready for whatever the world might have traced. They packed their bags and said their goodbyes to the town they had called home, and set off on a new adventure, with hearts full of hope and roam. The road was long and winding, and sometimes steep and tough, but Pippin and Sammy persevered, for they were brave and rough. They met new friends along the way, and saw sights they'd never seen. And as they traveled far and wide, they felt their spirits keen. They climbed mountains, crossed oceans, and ventured through forests deep. And with each step they took, their souls did forever leap. For Pippin and Sammy knew that the journey was the prize, and that each adventure they took was a treasure to forever surmise. And so they lived each day to the fullest, and embraced every challenge they faced. For they were the ones who found the treasure, and had the courage to never be fazed. And as they looked out at the world, from the top of a mountain high, Pippin and Sammy knew that their adventure was one that would never die. For life was full of surprises and adventures waiting anew. And Pippin and Sammy were ready for whatever the world might imbue. So they lived their lives with wonder and a spirit that never ceased. For they were the ones who found the treasure and had been blessed with a life of peace. The end.